Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you guys can see the canvas, the tiles I'm mousing over. Yours won't have all this junk, hopefully, but anyways, okay. So first we want to talk about today, the first session is communication. And I know that maybe been through this. I don't know if any of the other, if you guys have, Wendy, if you have or not, but and really what we're going to talk about here are just communication tools within Canvas, and a little bit too before we even get to that, just about the, our communications to students, to you guys, kind of the plan, where that's at, as far as going to Canvas as a learning management system. So kind of going to go there. And actually, I'll just start with that. Just so you know, at this point, the students have been given, they've got the email, quote unquote. We do want to send out a text through advising and counseling too. So we're going to let them know a text too. Really, I mean, we sent an email and I got one response from a student. They were happy that we're going to Canvas. So students are kind of lukewarm on that kind of stuff, when you send an email out to them about changes to a learning management system.
Until the first day of class.
That's when they get, that's when they start to warm up.
Yeah.
That's when the reality sets in. Yes. So, and it's understandable. We've all, we're all there. I get it. Believe me. It's just the nature of reality of life. But anyways, so they have, they're aware of this. There's a giant message plastered on Moodle. Hopefully they can see that too. And what they have right now is obviously us telling them in a lab email that, hey, this is what's happening. This is the plan. But we did give them links, and it's much simpler. I'll say this, guys. It's much simpler for them than you guys as instructors with all the buttons and the setup and so forth and so on. So, but we did give them links to critical stuff like learning how to use assignments for discussions, how to navigate Canvas, the basics, so they have that. Once we go live with Canvas, which will be middle of May, so coming up here, about 4 weeks, more or less, at that point, like right when Moodle ends, guys, end of the semester, that's when we kind of go live with Canvas. And don't panic, Moodle will be around for a while. It'll have to be, so you guys can reference it and do what you need to do and all that good stuff. So, and there may be students with incompletes, so we'll they can still have access to Moodle for a while. We'll work through that. We can deal with those issues. We're going to obviously send another email out. I know it's been a little while lately with all that's been going on, and I'm sure they've got other things on their minds right now and transitioning to Canvas in the summer. And really it's most pressing for those who are taking summer classes. So we're going to send this out again, just remind them, reiterate it, give them the text alert thing that, hey, we're switching learning management systems. Here's a link to go see this stuff. The official student Canvas orientation will be live at that point in mid-May. And the reason we can't do it now, guys, is because of they're still working on getting it's called ILP. That's basically for enrollment from colleague to Canvas. So they're kind of working on that. So that's so that's in progress. So by then, though, it should be fully operational, so they can come online, and then they'll go through the official. And honestly, we have a small summer orientation that we've been doing for a couple of years, like regular on ground, type orientation. So those students will get to experience it, and a lot of it probably will be online for them. Like even Dr. Bauer's message, all those things will probably be, we're kind of working to get those all online because I don't think we're going to really be able to have that. So there is that. So they will get that. If you could just tell me who's on iPhone, just so I can mark you as attended there. I just saw you join there.
Jennifer.
Okay, hey Jennifer. All right, I'll mark you down there, Jennifer.
Yeah, but I have a 9:30 Zoom music theory class, so I will have to leave.
It's okay. We'll only give you like 20% credit.
Oh.
I have to follow the rules, Jennifer. It's a joke. It's okay. It's all right. I marked it down. It's all right.
Yeah, but I would love to see your recording after this.
Yeah, we can certainly. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. A number of you have asked to speak about that. I'll send out that link again. And what that link has are the recordings for all these sessions, and it also will have the videos from Canvas, which I would honestly prefer you watch their 5-minute version than listening to me, blather on for an hour for these sessions. But so you'll have that, you'll have these, but I'll send that out today again to kind of remind everybody and get everybody in the same place there. So you'll have that. So again, guys, we have been kind of communicating with students. I think the first one went out like early March to students, really early March, about, we're transitioning to this thing, so. And I'll just tell you, I don't fear so much from their side. It's a lot more simple, a lot more manageable from a student's perspective than from an instructor's. Their job is a lot harder as far as setting the stuff up and, creating content and dealing with content and so on and so forth, and managing classes. So anyway, so that's kind of where the whole communication plan is with students. And that stuff, a lot of it honestly is word of mouth. I think a lot of them know. I think you guys honestly are the best for that too. A lot of you guys have instructed them, that told them that, hey, we're going to this new learning management system. So it's probably better to hear it from you than me, or they'll listen to you at least probably more than they will me. So that's okay. So that is where that's at. But yeah, again, they do have that link on Moodle, so they can go right now and view how these things are going to work, how to set up their preferences, stuff we'll talk about today. So they have that right now, even though they don't have an official orientation course, quote unquote, so they can learn all about this right now. So, and it's only like 5 or 6 things, guys. It's not like 15 or 20. It's not unrealistic. And a lot of these are 2-minute videos, 3-minute videos. They can learn about this in 30 minutes or less and be relatively okay. So a couple things we'll talk about today, since we are really talking about the communication tools in Canvas. And every once in a while I'll compare and contrast this with Moodle, so if you don't know what I'm talking about. On the Moodle side, just totally ignore me, because some of you have used it, some of you have not. There's Michelle. I'm going to mark you down, Michelle. So you're getting credit for this. So you're hiding in the participants.
And I swear, one of these things I'm going to do is finish that Canvas. I have started it, and I'm going to get back to it.
That's okay. We'll get there. It's all right. I'm going to do this so I can see you guys better. Okay. So, I guess quick show of hands, or just chime in, not so much show of hands, just chime in. What have you used in Moodle? I assume some of you use Jmail, which is Moodle's internal email. Some of you have probably used the quick mail block, which is kind of like a shortcut way to email all your students. That uses the student's eCentral college email account, so there's that. Those are by far the 2 most common aspects of contact and Moodle communication with your students. Canvas will give you that. You have that. So if you're worried about the Jmail thing, I know this is always kind of a concern with some instructors is, is there an internal email system inside Canvas? And the answer to that is yes. It's called Inbox. You probably have already seen it. It's on that blue menu, the farthest out that you see. It's like your Canvas system menu, if you will. So it has account, dashboard, courses, calendar, Inbox. So that is basically Canvas's system-wide, email tool. And if you're panicking, going, man, do I got to actually keep all these emails in Canvas? I really, may not use it that much in that sense. So I really don't want to go to Canvas all the time to get emails. No, it's by default, it's going to actually come to your eCentral College email account too. In the preferences, it's set that way, and we'll show you that in a minute, how to change that if you don't want it to be that way. But just so you know, there is an email tool called Inbox in Canvas, and that can there's a lot of flexibility in the communication notification settings, which we'll get into. So if you don't like it one way, you can pretty much change that to your heart's content. If you want to get a text message alerting you every time somebody sends you an email, I don't know why you would. But maybe you're a little sadistic, maybe you like to, and I get that, I'm kind of like that. I get all these texts and emails and stuff. So, but you can do that. If you want to tie this to your cell phone, not saying you need to or should, but you totally can. That's an option. If you need to tie it to other email addresses, you can tie, I don't know why you would want to, but I don't know, guys. I'm sure there's a scenario out there why you would. So that can be done too. It can go to multiple emails. By default, everything is really it's keying off of your eCentral College faculty email. Okay, that's in there by default. That's where it's going by default. Anything else, you're adding your cell, you're adding another email address. So that's up to you. That's on you, whether you want to go there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if you go ahead and you can follow along with what I'm doing, you're totally welcome to follow along or just watch, whatever. Everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going in circles. Kind of like life. I'm going in circles on Canvas there. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and click on my account up here. And you can see there's me. And I've got this little setting here called notifications. option, first option. So click on that. And bear with me, I'm going to kind of move you guys out of the way so I can see what I'm talking about here a little better. And what this is, these are your preferences on how you want to be notified. I don't think I have messed with this too much other than to add a couple things. So what you see is hopefully what you'll see. If not, you can use your imagination to change it. Here's the criteria, guys, or the settings. The check mark is notify me right away, daily summaries, weekly summaries, X, don't send me anything. And here's what's happening. Over here on the right, you can see I've got my East Central College email address. And like I said, this is mostly in the default setup, so you should see this. And you can kind of see it's intelligent, guys. I mean, a lot of this stuff they assume you don't want, so they're going to keep it X. But say I did want, and these are, of course, this is more probably for students, but you get the sense. Like announcement, that's checked. Generally you're going to want to get an email right away, notify you right away about an announcement type email, right? So that's why that's checked. A lot of this is comments and stuff. I will point this out under discussions here, and this refers to your discussions in Canvas. So discussion boards, forums, and Moodle. This is that, guys. These are online discussion boards. If you wanted to be subscribed, most of you don't want to be, and I get that. That's that thing where you get the email every time somebody adds a new reply to your discussion forum. That can be a lot of emails. I don't recommend this, but if it's an online class and you really want to instantly know everything, maybe you want this. I get that. So that's possible. So you would just click that, and you can see it turns green. It's active now. So I'm getting it right away anytime somebody adds a discussion or a post. And if you hover over these, it'll tell you, it'll give you a brief description of what they're talking about. That can be helpful. So you can see that, but I probably really don't want that, so I'm just going to take that back to X, so don't send me anything. Or you can do the summary option, the daily summaries, the weekly. You get less information that way, but it does kind of tell you how active a certain discussion topic might be, so it helps to kind of keep track if you want to do it that way. So there is that. Conversations. This is really inbox, by the way, guys. I wish they would do a /inbox or just call it inbox. I don't like the fact that it sounds different than this, but it's really the email, guys. This is really Canvas's inbox email conversations. Notice how like added to conversation message, I'm going to get that right away in this case. So I'm going to get it here in Canvas, and I'm also going to get it at my ECC email right away this way. If you don't want that for whatever reason, just hit the X or do the summary options. So there's that. Scheduling. Canvas has a calendar tool. It's right over here. And so if you want to get emails about scheduling, you can see some of that's set. Of course, you would have to enable it and create events to schedule and so forth. Get any of these emails, but that is there as well. So, a lot of this stuff you're probably not going to use, but groups is on there, conferences. Canvas has a built-in conferencing tool. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And there are numerous options for conferences here. So alerts, a global announcement, that'd be like an announcement we send to you, hey, the system's going to be down, there's some issue, so forth and so on. That's, checked by default. So a lot of this is going to be checked probably the way you want it for the average instructor, quote unquote, for whatever that is, by default. Okay. By the way, students have this too, guys. So students they don't have some of the options you have, but they have their own version of this, so they can set their own preferences. Okay. So and you notice there is no save button. Anytime I click it, guys, it saves automatically. Okay, on this screen. Okay. So you might be looking for a save button. There's not one. It's auto saved anytime you make changes. Okay. Any questions about that? Thoughts? I hope this Tylenol starts working soon.
Chad, I have a question back up on grading. I'm reading that little note there underneath it. So it doesn't go out to anybody else. What would you recommend as an instructor? Where would we want to keep that grading preference? Would it be something that, we don't need to get, if we're sending out stuff, we wouldn't need that, would we?
No, here's why it's even on there for you, Jay, because it is kind of confusing. Because you keep this in mind. The way this is set, Jay, and that's actually a great point because it reminds me of a really useful point I need to make here, is that this is like a system-wide settings thing for you, right? These notifications are system-wide. Because here's the thing, Jay, like most of your classes, right? You're the instructor, right? So that's kind of irrelevant anyways, right? But notice how we've got you guys in this Canvas training course. You guys are students in that course. So if I were to grade you, that's even why you even have that setting, Jay. Because
Okay.
if you were a student, it would actually apply to you. Most students, it's going to be checked this way for students too, by the way. And by default, I would probably say leave it that way, because that way you get an email alert saying, hey, you just got a new grade for, assignment A, Y, and B, X, Z, whatever. So, but if they're worried about that, they would just hit the X or the summaries if they just.
Okay.
So,
But as an instructor, if we check it, we're not getting every time a student grade gets posted, we're not getting that.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are other settings. There's a lot of ways to control that, guys. But no, this is really just for you as a student, if you were in a student capacity, Jay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I wouldn't stress that too much. So, and again, guys, if you do find you don't like whatever's happening, you just want to come back here under account notifications and hit the X if you do find that it is maybe too many emails or it's more than you wanted. So that's the beauty of it. But it is system-wide. I will say this company Instructure that makes Canvas, they are actually looking at this, working on this to try to change some of these settings so you can apply them to certain courses, specific courses. Because maybe in some courses you would want to be copied on everything or get an email all the time. Maybe others not so much. Because right now this is all or nothing, like it's doing this for all of your courses, your inbox and all of your courses, system-wide. So they are trying to fine tune that. That's something that's on their development. So just so you know. And I think that would be nice. It would give you much more control over which courses did what and how you got notifications by course. So that's like the next step, the evolution of this product. So just be aware. I think you're going to get more control in the next year or two, hopefully, or less. So because right now it's good that it's for everything in some ways, but it's also bad probably that it's for everything in some ways. So anything that gives you more control is always better, I think. So that's kind of where that's going. But yeah, this is totally for everything. So if I go to profile here, you may be wondering, okay, I've got this email address by default, my college email, that's great. What if I want to add the cell, get the text messages or another email address for whatever reason? If you go to profile here, oh, I'm sorry, I should have meant settings. I'm sorry, I'm off, guys. Sorry, my bad. Settings. So settings, so here I am. This is, it's got my email address, all this. Got me. Over here on the right, ways to contact, top right. Ways to contact. So you can just do plus. If you want to add a new email address, there it is. Or I can also do the text thing right away too from here. So I could put the cell number in, the carrier, and you can do the email thing, you can register it then. So, and you'll get like a validation code too, guys. So and you could also go to other contacts and do that as well. It's the same screen, guys. It's going to give it to you either way. So you can do that. So that'll let you add multiple phone numbers. I don't know why you would, again, multiple email addresses. Not sure why you would, but that's all there. And again, that's under settings. All this is under our account, keep in mind. Notifications and settings. So. Okay, so let's go actually I'm going to click on inbox here. And this again is Canvas's internal email tool. Again, by default, any emails any conversation we have in here through this email is going to go to the student's email address and to your instructor address as well. So there is that getting copied everywhere thing, and you can simply turn that off by going to account, notifications, and conversation, and just start, just basically X those out if you don't. Of course, then you better be checking Canvas a lot. Everything's going to be stuck in Canvas if you don't.
Can you hear me, Dr. Jen?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is that. Anyways, as far as actually using Inbox here in Canvas, right now, keep in mind, guys, it's on the global, our system menu for Canvas here on the outside of your courses. So what you could do is simply choose like a favorite course. You can search courses too. Let's just say I chose, I got to be careful here. I don't want to send one to a live course, sample 2. And I could, see my sent a lot of this is common sense type stuff. You've seen it before, so you can kind of choose around there. And you just simply click, kind of like Outlook, guys. It's not too much different. A little less options, a simplified version of Outlook if you want to look at it that way. Simply click on the email. There's the full, the full text email body. I got my reply button here. And you can do this up here too, guys. You can go compose new message. I'm in sample 2. I chose that, but I could select a different course. It's very flexible. You can add attachments. You can do the video thing. If you want to record an audio video comment, excuse me, you can add that in. Here's the text body, hello, so forth. All that good stuff. The subject. If you want to do the individual message to each receive, so you can do that with each recipient, each student. So you can blind copy that way. And here's your 2. You can click the little address book, or you can start typing in this. You can simply type in names. Like I've got Karen's in this thing, student 1. And if it is intelligent about this too. Notice how I can break it into teachers, and it would show me any teachers. There's me, so I could just pick myself. Sorry, I clicked off. This is a touch screen, so, but I clicked myself. So you just want to make sure you see that, So keep in mind this is an internalized email. So these people have to be in Canvas. These are accounts in Canvas. I can't just start typing in here, my email at. Hold on here. Like if I were to type in like a personal one, unless they've changed this, I don't think I can do this. So notice that says no results. So, I'm sure I can try. But anyway,
you're saying if you have a current student, you start typing their name, it's going to intelligently pick it up and it goes quicker.
Exactly. So you don't have to you can use the address book function, but notice I type in an address, like an outside non-Canvas type address. It wants people inside the system, guys.
Okay.
You can't just type in any old address. So notice it says invalid recipient. So, but yes, Jay, to your point, let me get rid of this. Sorry, guys, or I'll just replace it. Oh, there we go. So yeah, either use the address book. I think, who's my student here? Hold on. So ECC student 1. So if I start typing in ECC, it brings that up.
Okay, yeah.
It's fairly intelligent about finding users. So otherwise, you can just explore the address book and look for teachers or students, and it breaks that out to whoever, or do all. If you want to email the whole group, the whole class, all students, sample 2 students in that course, sample 2. So you can do that, and that would apply if you had groups or anything special set up, or sections, different sections tied to your course. Say you're teaching Comp 1, you got 3 sections all in one Canvas class. You'll be able to locate that too, guys. It'll intelligently list that too. So then you just hit send. It helps if I pick somebody, actually. It's always useful. Student 1, I'm going to send it, and there it goes. Message sent. You always hopefully will get a message like that. You can trash stuff. A lot of this you can highlight. A lot of this is pretty basic stuff, guys. But you got trash buttons. You can archive, download the emails. So you have some settings. It's not elaborate, guys. It's not Outlook in all its glory or anything. So, but again, one question that is commonly asked is, so I'm having this Canvas inbox communication, going on. I email a student. They get the email at their ECC student email address, right? What happens then? Basically they reply back to you. It'll come back to Canvas in the inbox. So even though they don't answer it in Canvas, it'll actually come back to Canvas in inbox, and it'll likely go, as long as you've got it set, it'll go back to your ECC email as well. So, I think a lot of you are just going to have to see how what you like best, your preferred method there. Because if you're not in Canvas every day or every hour, you may want those emails coming to your ECC email address. So that's why it's checked by default. So it's like round trip, no matter which way they go, you're going to get the email. So, but maybe some of you don't want that duplication. So you might want to finesse the old settings there. So does that make sense? Clear as mud? Thoughts, questions? Break out the grid here. See if there's anybody. Okay. Make sure everybody's still with us. Okay. So again, that's going to always be out here. So if I go to a specific course, remember, like the intelligently named sample course 7 here, with dog pictures. And actually, you can see I actually have I've got a new email here, and that's indicated by the little white circle. So that kind of helps me know that I got an email. I click on that, and there's that one. I sent this earlier. I was testing something at 9:02 there, it looks like. So you can see, it's indicating it's new there, little circle, golden circle. Click on that. There's that message. So it's kind of how it works. It's pretty basic, but effective. But again, no matter where I'm at there, I just backed out, but if I refresh, it'll go away. I have another message. All right. So anyways, I'll go back to dashboard. But going back to sample course 7. So no matter what course I go to, guys, it's always there. So, okay. And that's why, like, when you go to it, a lot of times you have to choose, if you want to start an email, you're going to want to choose a course. And your courses are going to be listed. Anything you're enrolled in will be listed, okay, as an instructor. So you don't have to go find courses. You can, but, you don't have to do that really. So anyways, okay. Let's go back to dashboard, and dashboard is where your courses are listed, kind of like Moodle, guys, the tile thing. I know this isn't the Canvas intro session, but just if you're new to this, everything's kind of a tile, just like Moodle, to get access to your courses. On the calendar, I'll quickly show you this. The calendar is right here. Again, this is a system option. And you can see, it does break it up. I don't know if you've ever used the Moodle calendar. Most of you kind of avoid it, understandably. But you can see, I can actually check different calendars to, if I had different events, they would show up or not show up. Very similar to like, Outlook's calendar, Office's calendar, I should say, Office 365. So you can kind of determine what calendar you're going to show if you want to go this route. They're all there. You've got options. You can change the calendar color to kind of help clarify what's what. You can do the whole week, month thing, agenda, and so forth. So you can create a new events by hitting the plus button. Pretty straightforward. So you can choose the calendar, the course, date and time, all that good stuff. But I'm not going to spend too much time. And this is a big breakout view. I just hit more options. So if you really want to get elaborate, you can really type in there. But I'm going to go back. The calendar feed, because maybe you want to integrate this calendar with Outlook. So if you click calendar feed here, it gives you this address. So you could basically take this, you copy this address, and you can actually there is an option in your Office calendar. You can actually add this Canvas calendar to that, so you don't have to be looking at the Canvas calendar all the time, and that way it kind of syncs up with your Office calendar. So you just want to copy that calendar feed, and there's an option in Outlook to actually add that. So it's right there, guys. And you can see we've got the monthly, the little miniature breakout version of it. I will not spend too much time on this, but just so you know, you can actually make appointments and use this to actually schedule. So if you've ever used the Moodle scheduler tool, this is Canvas's version of this. This is really tied into the calendar. In Moodle, it's like a separate thing tied into nothing. I mean, it works. It's not a lot of you use it, but some of you use it to really good effect. So it's nice to have. But if you ever need students to make a schedule appointments, I'm trying to say, you could certainly use this, as an option. And that way it would basically use your calendar, and it would show, hey, I've got an appointment with Joe Johnson here on Wednesday the 8th at 1:30 p.m. And you can set it as you saw. Only that student can sign up. One time slot. There's all those options. So, but you can kind of manage that. So, but there is that option if you do need it. So, if you did use that Moodle scheduler tool, you're basically using the calendar to do it that way, assuming you still want to do it in Canvas that way. So, or otherwise you can just use your Office calendar either way. So it is possible. Bear with me here. Any thoughts on that? I will show you, one thing about it, there are a number of screens you can actually communicate with your students beyond what we're talking about here, the main, the email, the calendar, all that kind of stuff. So if I go to, let me find a course that probably will work good for this. Let's see what sample one's got. Okay. So if I go to people here, right? These are the students in my course. So if I click on people, I'm on my course homepage, right? That's where I'm at here in Canvas in a course called Sample 1, creatively titled. I just go to people. So these are other ways you can communicate with your students. And you can see, you can see the email addresses right away. But if you simply click on the name of the user, you see student 1 in this case. You can see it brings up this little menu over here. And I can do it here too, guys. I can click the little email icon and boom, here I'm sending a message. You got a subject, a body, send the message. And this really does use the inbox system, but it's kind of a shortcut to get there. So you could send a quick message that way, right away. So that's possible. It's right there. I'll click away from that. So again, you can go to people to do that. And I will tell you, I won't spend too much time because this is more of a grade book kind of grading thing. But in certain things, like if I go to chapter 1 quiz here, depending on the tool, and let me see if I have any submissions on this. Let's see, has anybody taken this thing? But, okay, it doesn't actually matter for this purpose. But I could also, guys, when I could do comments, I could submit, this is going to go to the student as well. And this all relies upon their settings that they've set in notifications, okay? So, they could get it from this screen. There's a lot of ways they can get this stuff, guys. So, I mean, I'm in SpeedGrader, which is a grading interface, so they could get the communication that way. Whenever I'm adding comments, whatever, to an assignment. Let me get back there. So I'm back to sample course 1. I could also actually, this little button menu, I'm in the grade book now. I know I'm kind of jumping around. And don't worry about the details here, guys. I'm just trying to show you what it's capable of. In the grade book for chapter 1 analysis here, sorry, it's touch screen. I keep touching the screen. For student 1 here, or for any of these students really, I click the little menu for this item, and I could message students who, and haven't submitted yet. Maybe that's my criteria for this assignment or quiz, whatever it may be. I could also change that, scored less than. Maybe I want to let the people know who scored less than a 70. And this it should see how it automatically picks those students up. Like it's ECC student 1 and test student. So, and this is, I'm just throwing numbers out here, guys. You can make this number whatever you want. But, and then I could say, hey, let's whatever. You get the idea. So I can basically kind of intelligently, Canvas is going to do the hard work, figuring out who scored less than or whatever, or who hasn't submitted yet, test student 1 in this case. So it's going to be able to tell you all that good stuff, and you just basically are just sending the message, hey, please turn this in today, or, I'm going to have to take 10 points off, whatever. What's the issue, guys? Why haven't you submitted? Send the message. It uses the inbox messaging system, so they're going to get it that way. You're going to be able to communicate that way. I'll go back to sample 1. This is my course shortcut link to get back to my home page. There are analytics too. I don't know if anything's been compiled for this course. We'll see. But I can use the analytics. I can do message students who here. Anytime you see that little email envelope, guys, I could do a score range, who didn't score, and I'll say 1 to, well, there's 2 students already, but 1 to 70. So just 1 student. Who's missing, who's late. If I've got dates set, or they just haven't turned it in, Canvas can figure that out. I can do subject message. So there's a lot of ways to really communicate with your students, whether it's grading, not turning work in, just traditional communications, and so forth and so on. So any questions about that?
I like it. I was doing that all last week through Moodle. It's hard.
It's hard through Moodle. And Moodle really doesn't even have a lot of those
Yeah.
like that, guys, to really just do the hard work for you. Because Moodle, like, you have to do all the busy work and, kind of tabulate who did this, who didn't do that. Canvas is trying to take a lot of that busy work out of the system for you, so you can just focus on, teaching and less management of tracking who does what assignment or didn't do what in an assignment. So all that really laborious type stuff.
That's really handy.
So it's probably honestly worth the cost alone, just in the ability, the tracking aspect of, the analytic aspect for you to do that without wasting a lot of your time. So there is that. I should show you. As far as integrations here, and some of this stuff, guys, I know we're kind of working on finessing this a little bit. And I'm actually in a course. This is my course menu, guys. You can see Office 365. So there is that integration. If you go the first time, you'll have to authorize and accept Microsoft's terms. You'll get that message probably. Just do that. And that allows you on collaborations, for example, if you're wondering what that is, basically, you can add a collaboration up here and you choose, Office 365 in our case. And this machine's a little slow today, but it's getting there. And, you can see here, I've got, this is like Word, for example, but I could choose others. And I'm kind of like making a new one. I could say, our workbook. And I won't spend too much time here, but assignment, if I can type today, 1. I could give it a description. These are the people, I'm going to start adding some. I click them to kind of add them to this and see how I can save now. It's like I'm creating this collaborative workspace. One thing I should really tell you here, I keep clicking to add people, you get it. I'm going to hit save. And it's getting there. And here it is. And what this really does, guys, the actual magic here happens outside of Canvas. Notice it's loading Office 365. Okay. It's kind of using our sign on, which is, using Microsoft sign on. So it's getting there eventually. It's thinking about it. It's coming. Here it is. So here we're in Word now, online Word, Office 365. And I'll edit document, and I can do the desktop edit in the browser like I'm really right now. Here, eventually, thinking again. So, here we are. Word's trying to catch up there. It's getting there. You can see the menus are loading. There they are. So we're really doing this through Office 365. And the whole thing about Canvas, and is it's just a place to kind of house these collaborative documents that you're working on. The actual tracking and editing happens in Office 365, okay? So it's going to be in your Office 365 account. The thing about Canvas is just a place to kind of organize and house them if you had collaborative documents going, okay? That's really what that's about. It's not like Canvas has a special magical tool of itself to edit the documents. It's not reinventing the wheel. So you can certainly do that through Office 365.
Hey, Chad.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
You said something about, I'm getting an echo. Anyway.
You're in twice, Gary.
Oh,
Somehow you're in this conference twice.
Oh, that's why I'm getting an echo. Anyway, when we sign up for Word 360, Word 365, I mean, you said that there was, we needed to register.
And Gary, it's actually part of it's automatically, you shouldn't be buying anything.
Okay.
Registering.
All right.
But it's actually part of your eCentral College, your email account, Gary. Like when you go to Outlook, you may have noticed that grid icon at the top left. Anytime you click that, Gary, it shows you like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, like all the Office online tools. So you should, and that's for students too. Nobody should actually be buying Word or Office unless they really want to. Because as long as they're a student or you're an employee of the college, you have access to all these products through your email.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we tell students during orientation, do not go buy this thing. You've already got it. As long as you're a student, it's free. And they can actually even install it further to get the non-online versions if they want the full bells and whistles of everything. So they can actually even install it on their computer. So yeah,
Okay.
If you have an account already, Gary, anytime that email, click that little grid. You can probably see like the little grid in Word here. So like I click that, you see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You have that in your email, and they have that too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's all this stuff. That's what we're using here. So no need to go buy or register for anything special. That's a good question. So that is collaborations. Again, it is a space to basically make shareable, documents that you're actually going to edit through, bear with me, let me get back to it. Here it is through Word. So clear as mud. Conferences, probably the last thing I'll talk about here. Conferences, again, we're inside our sample 1 course. And there's a little message about Big Blue Button with all that's going on right now. But anyway, so if I go plus conference, and you'll notice in Canvas, it's big on the plus thing. Anytime you see a plus, it means add new, you know. So, and right now the type is Big Blue Button. We're trying to get them to give us other options. You know, there's Teams, there's Zoom, there's all that stuff. And you can see I just give it a name. They have a contract with Big Blue Button, guys, and that's why it's, you know, like this. And we have so far not been able to add anything else really into it this way. I'll show you how to do Teams and Zoom in a minute here. You can, you know, do the minutes however long you want to do it. You can enable the recording, in the description, how, you know, time limit, you know, so forth. If you want to just make it run forever, you can invite all course members automatically or not, and then you can start picking people if you choose to go individual, and just hit update. And I'll just go ahead and do this. And you can see there's our sample 1 conference. I can hit start to enable that. I will go ahead and try this. It may go haywire. It might not be a wise decision considering I have Zoom running. But I'll try to mute it so it doesn't go crazy, but just ignore me if it does get weird. I'm launching, basically I'm recording a conferencing system. So you can see I get, you know, it's very similar to Zoom. So you're totally welcome to use this, guys. It's provided as it's a built-in service with Canvas. So my personal thoughts on Big Blue Button, I don't have a huge, I think it's fine. I will say we've had some times where it just didn't work, but that can happen with Zoom. That can happen with anything, guys. So, you know, your mileage may vary. You may love this thing, and you may love the fact that it's already built in to kind of choose your students, and it's much more integrated, you know, and so take advantage of that, you know. We are kind of working with Instructure to see if we can get you other options here when you hit plus conference to actually in this menu. So far the answer has been, you know, use, let me show you here. I'm going to leave conferences. This is one thing I'm less thrilled about, honestly, but I should show you this. If I create like a new module here, or I'm sorry, I meant to do a new item, I should say. I could create an assignment or whatever, our Teams meeting. I know this is a strange kind of path to follow, but if I do add item there, here's our Teams meeting. It's right here. I'm getting to it. It's thinking. I just didn't click it all the way. I'm sorry. Okay. So when I go edit here, and this is where I'm a little irritated. We're trying to get better integrations on some of these guys, but right now this is where it's at. So if I click on, bear with me here, where's it at? I'm wondering if I just didn't enable it for this course. More external tools. I know this is so obvious, I know. See the little V there? If you can barely see this, that's okay. I can barely see it. I'm looking right at it. Notice how we have options here. Microsoft Teams meeting. So I click that. It's thinking. And I could sign in and I could have a Teams meeting that way. So, and I assume it will sign me in since I'm already into several Microsoft products right now, including Word, which we had open. So it's thinking about that. And you'll get this message, guys. If you want to do this, you'll have to accept. So I'm accepting. And then I can create my meeting link, and I'm kind of doing the Teams thing at that point. So that's a roundabout kind of way to get to it. We're trying to get that better, guys. I'm not thrilled with to an editor menu like that, okay? So don't stress over that. But as of right now, that's kind of what we got. We're trying to get that a lot better, just so you know. The Zoom collaboration's a little better. It'll show up over here. If I go to my settings at the bottom of my sample 1 course, but some of that stuff's a work in progress with all these providers. And if I go to navigation here, notice I've got, these are my hidden kind of things, my hidden features, functions in my menu. And Zoom's there. If I click the little menu, enable it, notice it pushed it up here to my active menu items. I hit save, make sure you save on this page. Now I've got Zoom over here, right? It's part of my course menu. And it's thinking about it. And I already have Zoom running, so let's pray this isn't catastrophic. So anyways, I could schedule a new meeting. I could pretty much go right here and do it. So previous meetings, personal meeting room. Notice how it knows it's me. Like some kind of signed into Canvas as me. It's my email address. So you can do that. That integration's not bad. The Teams one, like I said, we're kind of working on. So. There is that. So I think what we're really at with that, in a perfect world, so far they've not said it's 100% possible, though I think they're trying to get there. In a perfect world, you know, you're hitting plus conference and you have Big Blue Button, you have Zoom, you have Teams, you have whatever, you know, WebEx, whatever, you know, whatever is possible, whatever you want to use really. So that's where we're trying to get to. As of right now, it's kind of a hodgepodge a little bit. So just making you aware that you can launch those with inside of your Canvas course. Any thoughts, questions? And some of that, guys, you know, right now it's interesting, the whole web conferencing situation, you know, obviously right now it's really relevant. Oh, I wish this Tylenol would work. Bear with me, guys. I have a splitting headache.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Chad, this is just kind of a general question. You've talked a lot about notification settings for students and how students will access these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that like the new student orientation is being redesigned, and probably a piece of that could be pushed out to every student.
Yeah, and I think, Michelle, to kind of get, I don't know how much we've talked with you about this, or just to kind of let you know where we're at with that. And I mean, I know right now we're with this whole pandemic situation, you know, we're having to kind of change things to make it, you know, the whole thing online. But even before all that, guys, like as far as Canvas goes, you know, like our plan, because what we always, here's the deal, guys, here's how it works right now or has worked in the past. You know, we have an orientation, it's great. It's like 3 or 4 hours long. And, you know, it's hard to keep students' attention for that long. You know, we have them, we get them logged into the computers, make sure they can use their eCentral accounts. We very quickly, within 25 minutes, which should tell you something right there, show them how to use eCentral, the email, and Moodle, right? And we make them sign up for emergency alert notifications all in that time frame. It's very quick. It's so quick that we really don't have time to really tell them much about Moodle other than really basic stuff or really any of these systems. So to kind of remedy that, what we're kind of doing, this is all before this even began, guys, the pandemic situation. This is the plan, is to, you know, every orientation is an actual class and colleague. So we can actually put those students, you know, put the orientation for those students in Canvas. So at least for the technology portion, our portion, you know, we were going to basically have them have advising counseling when they register, say, hey, here's your information. You know, this orientation is available to you right now. That the advantage right away is it gives them more time to do it. You know, so they're not here like the week before school figuring out they've got emails, which is a common thing. You know, if you're on that very last orientation, you all of a sudden see 85 emails that you should have been checking before school started. So we're trying to alleviate that, give them more time to really learn it. And it is that too, in a nutshell. We actually can see that they can do these things. We can see they submit an assignment. We can see they reply to a discussion board. And we're actually monitoring it. Okay? We're using badges and the tracking features, the analytics to track this. And it lets us know when we actually have the on-ground orientation, assuming we will eventually, that, you know, these were the 15 people who didn't do it. You should come to this little session with us. We'll try to work through your issues. So we're trying to cover all the bases. That's probably more than you wanted to know. I don't know if it helps or not or answers your question, Michelle. But
Well,
I guess what I was kind of getting at is from an instructor perspective, on will instructors be, you know, maybe instructors could be auto-enrolled in the student orientation to Canvas, because even a lot of our summer students who will be using Canvas for the first time are going to be continuing students.
sure.
So it's just to be able to see things from their perspective, or even to have links to click on, okay, they had this video, they've been told this. They didn't read it, but this is what they've been told.
Yeah, and we could totally do that. That's a good idea. I think I see what you're saying is just to let them see, you know, what the students would see. That's what you're saying, Michelle?
Yeah, and to see, okay, so we understand. I mean, if you could tell students ahead of time, I'm going to be on Canvas between this time and this time, and if you email me through Canvas, it's only going to my Canvas notifications.
Yeah.
I'm checking it. Or if you, you know, we hear from students right now that they're kind of overwhelmed with emails.
Sure. Yeah.
Telling them that, okay, if you don't want to be overwhelmed with emails, that's fine, but you need to check into Canvas minimum once a day, or, you know, to know what general advice they've been given rather than course specific advice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an outsider's perspective.
No, it's totally a good perspective. I mean, yeah. And I mean, because keep in mind too, we're tracking it ourselves. Like we're kind of, and we could basically, you know, I think the theory is the working theory right now, because foundation seminar is being redone. Bear with me, guys. A lot of moving pieces here. So if you did not do, like say even in the orientation, you missed the orientation, you know, you're kind of off the grid at this point. You're not doing the online Canvas thing. You're not even coming to physical orientation. At that point, I think we're going to try to address it quickly in foundation seminar. You know, I mean, why you're not doing it or what's going on. But to answer your question, Michelle, yeah, I mean, they could. I don't know how it would work contractually because all this is probably happening before faculty are on contract. In some ways, live. You're asking if they're in the live Canvas orientation class. I don't know if you really.
No, I'm just saying I'm really not stressed about brand new students.
You're just saying like the fact.
I'm saying continuing students.
Okay.
To have access to, for faculty to have access to the resources specifically that continuing students have. Does that make sense? Because I mean, the new students, they have a mindset at least that they're going to have to learn something, or they should.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how it would work because like each one's an individual course, like each orientation session's like an individual course, you know, and those are all like courses in time, like each semester based. So it's almost like the thing for would be like more generic, like maybe they could add themselves or we could add them all to I just fear it'd be replication though, and they get confused, or I'm trying to think of a good way for that.
I just was thinking about a resource bank of, you know, these are the videos that have been shared.
Oh, okay. You mean maybe like a more general version of it, Michelle, like a more.
Yeah, just,
yeah.
you know,
okay.
we shared these as for beginning continuing students. Here are the top you should watch about Canvas.
Okay.
And I don't.
Yeah,
I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
How much instruction are we going to have to give our students in a class regarding the class-specific functions that we'll be using?
Yeah, Gary, that's really the point of us doing this Canvas orientation, so you don't have to do that. You know, I always hate to like, and I know a lot of you do it and it's great, but I just always feel like your time could be better spent, or it puts you guys in an uncomfortable position to like try to explain how, because, you know, even as instructors, you guys don't even see it from the student perspective sometimes in Canvas or Moodle, you know, and Canvas is like that
Right.
too. Things, Gary, like assignments that don't show you the upload button like a student sees it, you know, so you're kind of at a loss unless you went through all the student documentation or this orientation. It's different for you. That's one reason though why on this Canvas training you have a student sandbox course where the Canvas training course is you're actually a student, and so you see it from that perspective, right? And then you have the sandbox course where you're an instructor. So we're trying to let you see already how it would look from their perspective.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't realistically expect you guys to be able to. I mean, it's just, you know, as great as you can. That's the whole point of having them do these quizzes, these assignments, these forums, these discussion boards, and Canvas in this orientation course. So they're already kind of prepped for when they get to your course. So you're spending less time explaining and trying to.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I just
refer them back to
wondered where our responsibility was,
your responsibility, Gary.
begin and end.
Yeah, exactly. It's just to say, I mean, it's great if you want to go above and beyond, but I think ultimately you can just say, hey, go back to that Canvas, you know, and just refer them to us too. Don't put it on yourself. If they've got a question or having issues, refer them to the Canvas help desk, refer them to us, you know, at that point. Don't feel like you have to figure that out or explain everything.
Thank you very much.
Very wild, Gary.
It's
Browser.
just another resource. Like if you were sending them to a vendor site, all you're doing is highlighting something, and don't forget the forum I want you to do in Canvas, and You know, they should know how to
Right.
do that from what we're
Yeah.
doing with them, but you still just refer to it as an assignment.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Don't feel like you have to explain the mechanical workings of Canvas to your students.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Any thoughts, questions? Okay. Yeah, Michelle, I did make a note on that. If you're still, let me check if you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
That's a good idea. I'm trying to think, we'll think of hopefully a good way. At the very least, they can at least see what the students are, and it can be a perpetual resource, you know, like a generic, like optional version, just to have it persistent. That's a good idea. It's a good thought.
Thank you for this. I'm excited to have a tool like Canvas.
Yeah, I think it'll, you know, guys, you can, there's yay and nay on, what the system does versus the system, but I really am excited. I think, and there are downsides to anything, guys. There's going to be things we're not thrilled about, about with any system, but I think overall, I think this is going to be a much needed, much improved communication tool overall for our students. So.
Chad, I had a question for you. I see over in your tool, I guess your toolbox over on the course page right there, where it has the McGraw-Hill Connect. I do have a couple courses that are able to use that. In Moodle, I did not want to use it because it was two separate entities. Yeah. Is there more seamlessness to this? Or?
A lot of these integrations are definitely more seamless, Jay, from what we're seeing.
Yeah, because I thought Connect was great, but why would I have Moodle if Connect was something total different system?
It's a can of worms, Jay. Believe me, I get you. Because at the one, on the one side, we want you to use Canvas obviously as a primary, because so many students will be using this as a primary course delivery method. But I understand your pain, because if why would I use it if you can't support this or do that? And I don't want to create all this massive amount of content. That's why you have publisher product. I get it, So yeah, generally speaking, though, Jay, I can't speak for every one of them, but a lot of them that we've seen so far have been much more.
Yeah, the one course that I have, I actually have the option that they can buy the online text, and when they buy the online text, it comes with Connect. So it's like, well, wait a minute, are we using this? I go, no, we're not using this. We're going to use everything in Moodle. So I don't know, looking at it, I got time to play with it over the summer to say, okay, maybe this does work a little bit better than having, something like that.
Maybe
but it just wasn't feasible with Moodle.
I got you. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, the mileage varied wildly, Jay. In Moodle, we have integrations that are actually not bad. Then we have some. It's like, I don't even know why we have this. It's so terrible. I mean, they might as well just go to their website or just stay in Moodle. Pick your poison. Yeah,
because they would just confuse them. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I have my students in one class. There's a online site that they have access to by buying the physical textbook, that they have a workbook that's an electronic one. And for them to find that might be the hardest thing that I ever have to go through in each semester with my students, is just to find the link and how to get to the assignments.
And a lot, and some of you guys, when you do the integrations in Moodle, you'll use Moodle as the base course. Like, we have the syllabus and you have that link to get to that publisher site and the resources. I mean, that's a common, in these cases, that's a common setup.
Okay.
Because a lot of these single sign-on integrations are not pretty, Jay. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of times the grades don't transfer. We've had real issues with that. And there's Moodle has a lot of different versions. And that's the one thing about Canvas, is there's not all these versions, Jay. It's just one product.
And they add something new, that's all that there is.
I mean, yeah, that's all. Think of it like a modular system. It's like, it's one version of Canvas, but they may add a new feature that you can enable or not enable. But it's not like the whole system's like a different version, like version 6 point whatever, where, it doesn't work all of a sudden, and you got to contact your publisher over and over to get them updated, or we got to update Moodle, or what I'm saying. So it's just much less crazy.
Yeah, because I've noticed that with Moodle, there's one where I can't internally email my class because it's copied from an older version of it.
Yeah, and Jay, it is. I'm not even going to go into it. It has created a ton of problems and a lot of madness. From these version changes, it's just wild. But so I think that aspect of it, Jay, is alone helpful. So, but
as long as you're around, Chad, I feel confident we can learn this one.
Tylenol doesn't start working. I'm not sure, Jay. Maybe you're not supposed to drink quick Greg starts with Tylenol. I don't know.
So he's got to supply you with caffeine each week. Maybe every person that relies on you just needs to give you a Monster or Quick Start.
We learned last year that apparently the Surge, those sodas, the Surge
Oh, yeah.
sodas. Greg Stotler, they apparently come from Greg Stotler's car. He found a couple on his floorboard and he gave them to me. So the theory is that the Surges are magically come from the bottom of Greg Stotler's Prius. We don't
Oh,
know how, but that's where the Surges come from. So I haven't seen Greg in a while, so we're low on Surges. So, but no, I don't know. But no, guys, if you have any questions, just let me know. But otherwise, you guys are free to leave.
See you later.
All right, you guys.
Bye-bye.
you're doing another one at 10:30 then, Chad? We're going.
10:30.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Chad, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the Nets thing. It's finally done processing in YouTube.
Okay, thanks, Karen. All right.
Yeah, I saw Gary was in there twice.
Okay, yeah.
And then when he said he had an echo, I
Yeah.
was like, that makes a lot of sense. I was surprised he didn't say anything sooner. But then he looks like he fixed it later. He dumped one of them, so that was good.
I got you.
Because I was looking at it, I was like, why